Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be game number 2 here between Aristeo and MaNa. This time we are on the map Turnimus in the 6 o'clock spawn location. We have got our green Protoss player known as Mouse's MaNa, and then over here in the left-hand spawn position, Aristeo as our blue Zerg player. So Aristeo ends up winning game number 1, and let's just talk about that game for one moment. We saw a 7-gate level 1 weapons and shortly after level 1 armor push from MaNa. Now he pushed a little bit before the armor upgrade finished. Unfortunately for him though, Aristeo was able to manage to pump out just enough roaches plus a couple of spine crawlers as defense. And with that, he held off the push. And that was a huge problem for MaNa because MaNa ended up actually losing more than he did damage, and that really set him behind and set Aristeo up to, after that point, continue to work on his economy. He worked into a third base, and then he just pushed on MaNa's third, forced a cancel, and then pushed on it a second time and ended up dropping it. So unfortunately, again, MaNa's early push not doing much damage, coupled with the fact that the counter aggression from Aristeo forced a cancel, set him a bit too far behind economically. In addition to that, we saw no additional harass from MaNa whatsoever throughout the rest of the game. All he really did was that 7-gate push, and that was it. So a little bit of harass coming down from MaNa right now, though, as he is doing some damage to the probe. It looks like he will be used to go for that spawning pool, as Aristeo is opening up on some one-base play. Back over here, MaNa will be going for that Forge Fast Expand build. It does appear like this time, though, he will be going Nexus first. As you can see, continue to work up at around 17 supply. I think he's going to go for that. Yeah, 17 supply is when he should be able to afford that Nexus. We'll see him come out with the next probe. Come on, pull one over. There you go. So this probe right here will be dropping down the Nexus, and there you have it. Going Nexus first in a Forge Fast Expand can work. If you scout out your opponent early enough and you know that there is no pressure coming, then it's something that you're going to be able to pull off. And there you go, the Forge coming immediately after, dropping it right here. So the wall off will be going in this direction, somewhere in the vicinity of this green box here. And there you have it. Should be seeing that cannon right after that Forge, though, just in case, because he is going to be seeing some speedlings very, very shortly as the metabolic boost is coming on through. First 4 Zerglings coming out as well. Actually, 6 Lings. Yes, he is, wow, getting a little bit extra. Normally you see 2 to 4 at most. So those extra Lings can be used to help provide a little bit extra early game aggression. He could also just be trying to scout out his opponent as quickly as possible, because as of now, he does not know where he is yet. Although that Overlord will be spotting this base very shortly. Ling's now moving out, force that probe away, allowing that hatchery to get dropped. However, the probe does make it into the main. Why is he doing this? Why is he going back in the main right now? He needs to scout for a Roach Warren or Baneling Nest. He really needs to see if there's an early push. Now, the most probable of those two would be the Roach Warren. You don't see that Baneling bust as often against a Forge Fast Expand. It's pretty much just a Roach push with Speedling follow-up is what you'll see a lot of times. So the Overlord now scouting out MaNa's position. He will be sending some Lings to the front just to check out what's going on. That full wall off is finally there with just enough space right here for a Zealot. However, the Ling is going to start working on these back rocks here, which is going unbeknownst to MaNa, I believe. Yeah, MaNa cannot see that right now. He's got no eyes of those rocks at the moment. He does not know that those Lings are methodically going to be whittling away at them. 2 Speedlings over here, just grabbing those towers to see if any push or any scouts, secondary scouts, will be attempting to come on through. And we're actually going to see some more Lings here as Aristeo is really focused on taking this out. He's pumping out. Normally, these Lings would not be coming out. At most, again, you would see 2 to 4, and we saw that early game 6. But to come out with this additional amount of Lings this early on, very unorthodox. He's really just trying to focus on breaking down these debris, which will essentially force MaNa to create a wall off over here. These are additional cannons that MaNa really doesn't want to make, but he has no choice, as those Lings otherwise will be able to sneak right up into that main and harass that natural expansion as well. Back over here for Aristeo. Econ at this point, as he has already sacrificed some of his economy by coming out with these additional Lings early on. So right now he will just be focused on droning up. Should be seeing a layer as soon as he gets back to mining that Vespene gas, although he may try to go for a quick third. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because this version of the map does include those destructible debris, which makes an additional base very hard. And the Lings aren't able to make it through, as a full wall-off is there, plus the 1 cannon. But at the least, right now, Aristeo is delaying any possible third there from MaNa. Now, MaNa is coming out with the level 1 weapon upgrade. We've got 3 more gateways right now coming through. And actually, those were just basically mainly for that wall off. And canceling off that extra one as he's deciding he doesn't want that quite as of yet. He's going to save his resources for something else. Now Aristeo will be focusing on breaking down these rocks as he's preparing to move into his third base. Coming out with a lot of extractors right now, so should be seeing this saturate as he prepares to make that transition. He worked his way up to a decent amount of workers, but should be seeing plus 40, oh, about 40 right now, 38 drones at the moment. I guess that number was off because of those extra lings. Normally, when you see that extractor switch, they're around like 40 to 44 drones. But now finally at that mark, and the layer is coming on through, and he is basically preparing for his tech transition right now that he has a nice and solid economy. You can see that advantage over the Protoss player at the moment. 43 drones as opposed to 36 probes. MaNa is trying to make up with that by chrono boosting out some additional probes. Alright, so robotics coming on through here. Level 1 weapons now done for MaNa just as his warp gates come on through. Let's see if we're going to be seeing straight up Colossus here. Oh no, it will be some drop harasses. We're going to see a War Prism come out. Sentry drop harass, very effective as you can force field in and using a couple of zealots as well, just kill off a ton of workers. This could be some very effective dropping that we're about to see here from MaNa. Third, now getting dropped over here for Aristeo, still just sitting with a couple lings. Again, he's been focused very heavily on that econ early on, but right now he is preparing for that transition as that Roach Warren has now popped. A layer is up at the same time, and here comes that Spire. Roach Muta is what we'll be seeing here from Aristeo in the early stage of the game. Also Glal Reconstitution, that is of course that speed upgrade for those Roaches. There is the War Prism now moving out, filled up with sentries, and let's see how effective this harass ends up being. Couple of lings pushing forward, not able to make it all the way through though, as the wall off is there, plus the sentries and the cannons. But here comes the drop, sentries plus zealots, that's what you're gonna see. He's just trying to force this cancel right now, and he may very well do it. I do not think that Aristeo is gonna be able to stop this. He has nothing right now to deal with this. The forced cancel here of the hatchery will set Aristeo behind very, very much. Nice aggression here that we're seeing from MaNa. Couple roaches moving forward though to meet those zealots. Sentries in the back here. War Prism sets up, and there are those force fields as you expect. A few more zealots coming on through, keeping those roaches at bay, and he's gonna force a cancel of a Spire. That is gigantic. How effective is this MaNa with this early game aggression? Unbelievable harass with this War Prism. Forcing a cancel of a hatch is big enough, but forcing to cancel the Spire was tremendous. We'll be rebuilding the Spire in the main in what would hopefully be a little bit of a safer position. Looks like he's not done with this harass, so preparing to drop again here and try to force another cancel of this hatchery. Here comes some more zealots. Sentry's got enough to do some force field action, and here we go. Some more harass. If he forces another cancel, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Roach is moving down to meet those zealots though, and it looks like MaNa is forced back. Not enough anti-air to threaten that War Prism as those queens are a bit too slow, so he makes it home nice and safe. Transition for MaNa will be into Colossus as we are seeing that Robotics Bay coming through. Also a Twilight Council coming out, and a third. So MaNa is now preparing for the next stage of the game. He has already got those 1-1 upgrades complete. Let's take a look at upgrades over here for Aristeo. He does have a level 1 armor, but that is it at the moment. He has not managed to get out much else so far in this game. Obviously quite an unfortunate situation for him, but what can you do, you know? Roach is pushing back a zealot in the center of the map, as we will be seeing map control go to Aristeo right now. And MaNa really doesn't have a lot. Keep in mind though, with that push, that was pretty much the bulk of his force, because he spent so many resources on dropping those things. So you can see back at home, he just doesn't have a lot at all. And even just a couple of roaches threatening enough to force MaNa to bring down the entirety of his force, which at the moment is just this. Now we do have 10 mutas about to pop, so Aristeo is prepared to respond with some aggression of his own, which is certainly good because he is going to need to do that very thing. You can see they're about even in terms of resources lost, but again, forcing the cancel of that hatch plus that Spire really set Aristeo behind. These mutas would have been out much earlier, pushing out about probably another minute or two before this. That Spire was just about to pop at the 10-minute mark when MaNa dropped and forced that cancel. So Muta Harass now finally coming through here around 13:30 and forcing all the guys off the line right now for fear of losing any more workers. We do have an attempted expansion over here. Pylons should be spotting that though, so we're going to be seeing some harass come down over there from some warped in zealots most likely. Stalker's pushing forward enough to force those mutas back. He just doesn't have enough mutas at the moment. Another attempted drop harass over here. Managed to do a bit of damage with some micro. However, mutas do come back to engage with that War Prism. That War Prism will be pushed all the way back home. Met by the Stalkers, mutas forced back. The War Prism is still alive, luckily enough for MaNa. Alright, so this expansion, unfortunately, will get taken care of, as MaNa is likely to just warp in a couple of Zealots and take care of that once he actually spots that that is coming through. Obviously, quite unfortunate there for Aristeo. And although he hasn't been crazily effective, those mutas did manage to kill off a few workers. You can see actually 11 workers killed so far this game. Mutas moving back in. Look at those numbers right now. Holy heck, 17 mutas in play. He is dedicated to this air harass. At the same time, we've got an engagement prepared to push down on the third, and there it goes. Mutas in the main, killing off some workers. Force fields pushing those roaches back, and Stalkers trying to meet up with those mutas. However, there are just too many. 6 more mutas coming out as well. So we'll be putting him at 23 mutalisk once that comes on through. And he's going to be taking out this Nexus pretty quickly. Roaches and Speedlings prepare to push at any moment. However, he will be met by some force fields, and the Nexus is going to get taken out. That's a problem. Wow, very effective counter harass here that we are seeing from Aristeo. MaNa's got no other drops coming on through. Unfortunately, with this amount of mutas in play, it will be very hard to get that War Prism across the map. Gonna have a couple Archons move down, clumped up. Those mutas need to be careful. Whoa, push back. Splash damage from those Archons will tear through the mutas. Roaches and Speedlings again trying to push, do some damage to the units, but get met with a force field wall, and as such are forced back. Now Aristeo should be seeing this pylon. MaNa hasn't warped in anything yet. There it is. Gonna be seeing some Zealots. This is gonna be a huge headache right now for Aristeo. He's got nothing to deal with that. We'll be coming out with a couple Speedlings to try to deal with those Zealots. Archons meet up with some clumped up mutas. So dangerous indeed. Drones now on hold, stopping the Zealots from, trying to at least stop the Zealots from being within range of that Queen. However, not done entirely properly, as there were some open spaces. And now the Roaches and Speedlings will be taking out that pylon. Mutas still dancing around, preparing to move into the main. Gets spotted by the Observer over there. And is MaNa doing anything else right now? No. He's got these 2 pylons over here, just kind of chilling out on his 3 bases, trying to continue to come up with the units. No Colossus at all, obviously, because there are so many mutas in play. Doesn't even want to bother starting to try to produce those. Magic Boxing, though, is what you can do against those Archons. Same as against the Thors, and he takes them out without taking much damage. And now mutas just running rampant in the main, forcing a cancel again of that main Nexus. We'll now be trying to go for that Twilight Council. And again, another big force over there, preparing to push. Lots of Stalkers, though, and they do a blink research, forcing back all the mutas. Here comes the rest of the army as Aristeo is preparing to push on that third yet again. Mutas joining the bulk of the force right now, and we got so many mutas. It's crazy. 24 mutas with 7 more about to pop. My gosh, muta heavy play here in PvZ. In this situation, proven to be quite effective. Aristeo doing things perfect here. He's continuing to push right now, but with that big force field wall, we'll be forced all the way back. Blink Stalkers trying to chase down the rest of the forces, however, not quite quick enough, as those upgraded Roaches plus Speedlings are able to sneak away. Still nothing, though, which is killing me here. The MaNa is not coming out with any counter aggression. We'll be delaying this expansion over here, and also moving with some Zealots to try to harass over here. 2 Spines. I don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll have to see. Here comes a big push right now. Huge storm goes down. He walks right through it, but it doesn't matter. See, he's muscling his way through these units. Stalkers blinking back, trying to do what they can. Zealots get met by those 2 Spines. It looks like the Spines will actually win here. Going to be pretty close, though. Continuing up this push. Aristeo doing so much damage, forcing all the guys off the line. This is not looking good right now for MaNa, as this expansion is about to get dropped. Roaches buying time for those mutas to try to take this out. Zealots are taking care of. A couple more Spines getting laid down over here as well. This expansion, oh, it's going to be very close. Stalkers moving forward. Doesn't matter. There's too many mutas. Nexus is gone. GG, good luck from MaNa. What a game, number 2. All right, my friend, that is going to do it here for this series between MaNa and Aristeo. 2 games going straight to Aristeo. Very nice play this game, and impressive muta harass. He ends up taking the series 2-0. All right, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Helps me out so much. Thanks again, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.